You know how there's always that saying that certain jerkbags are going to ruin something for other people, that certain people are going to overindulge in certain ways and end up hurting everyone else's fun. And that's kind of what's happening now with Rotten Tomatoes, right? Because Rotten Tomatoes, and this is true, it finally announced today that, oh, they are going to be requiring users to verify ticket purchases to impact the audience score. And this has angered a lot of people. They're saying this is an affront to freedom of speech and freedom of... And you know what? They're not exactly wrong, even though the system itself isn't going to stop them from voicing their opinion, but it is going to stop them from voicing their opinion in any kind of official audience score perspective or any kind of impact on that score, which is interesting to say the very least. So anyway, it says here that starting today, Rotten Tomatoes will require users to have more or to have to verify their movie ticket purchases in order to contribute a rating and or review to the aggregate audience score of a movie, which, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do think ultimately that's the way. I think if you are going to review something, you should probably have to, in a situation like this, where the numbers matter as much as they claim that they do. I like to argue that Rotten Tomato scores don't really matter, but so many other people use them as this actual metric of something being good or being bad. And if it can be gamed, they got to find a way to lock it down. And they kind of feel that this is the best method, but they are still allowing you to still review. It just isn't going to have an impact on that score, which is going to be good for trying to curb a lot of harassment. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Rotten Tomatoes announced a revamped audience rating system, which will now feature verified ratings and reviews for theatrical releases from here on out. Starting today, only Fandango users will be able to verify their ticket purchase, but eventually AMC Theaters, Regal, and Cinemark Theaters will participate by collaborating on ticket purchase authentication systems with Rotten Tomatoes. Now, that is something I don't like. Off the bat, only Fandango can do it. And then it's going to be AMC, Regal, and Cinemark. See, that I don't like, because even though those are the top chains, you have Landmark Films, or Landmark Theaters that sometimes run those movies. Those are more of the independent side of things. Or you'll get, like, you know, other smaller theater chains that end up getting the movies. Like, I worked for Regency Theaters in Los Angeles. Regency is a predominantly second run theaters, but they do also have other other outlets or theaters that do cineplexes that have the new films. And so people go there, and there's a lot of them in Los Angeles. I think they have like 22 locations. So they are not going to be allowing their users to go in to do this. I don't like that one damn bit. Even though I support the concept of verifying your purchase to be able to leave a review that impacts the aggregate, locking it down to Fandango only is a problem, in my opinion. I also worked for a drive-in theater in San Diego for a long time, and they're not going to be able to be included in this one, which, again, I don't like. If you pay for it and you're going to be allowed to then be verified to be able to leave an actual review, it's got to be for everybody or for no one. Like, that's how it's got to be. It can't be one system at play right now, because not everyone uses Fandango. Now, it should be noted that users who don't verify their ticket purchases will still be able to rate and review movies, but those ratings and reviews will not count towards the new verified audience score, which will be displayed on both Rotten Tomatoes and Fandango, the latter replacing the previous 5-star rating system. All of them will be listed on Rotten Tomatoes, but only the verified ticket buyers will have a badge next to their reviews. Well, okay. So, I mean, I guess in that's not as bad, like in the end game part of this whole situation, where you're going to end up having the people's badges to see that it's verified. It will give some credence to those reviews, because there were a lot of people that are trolling it. There are a lot of people that troll it. There are groups dedicated to trolling Rotten Tomatoes. And so because of them, this situation is happening. And he even goes on to say here that Rotten Tomatoes isn't coming out and saying that this is why they're doing it, right? They're not necessarily saying that, but they are more publicly friendly about what this whole thing means in regards to verification, saying the launch of verified ratings and reviews is part of the Rotten Tomatoes overall plan to modernize its audience rating system over the next year, making it even more helpful to fans as they make their entertainment viewing decisions. This is coming from Paul Yanover, who is a president of Fandango. He also says, "We know from our research that fans consult Rotten Tomatoes audience scores along with the Tomatometer when making decisions on what to watch. Having an audience score and reviews from fans who are confirmed ticket purchasers will add even more usefulness to our product and increase our consumer confidence. which is actually very, very, very true. People will respond to that and they'll be, okay, that's someone I can trust. They've legitimately seen it. They've been verified that they've seen it. Again, that's kind of how we operate psychologically in many cases. But Fandango's vice president of product, Greg Ferris, was a little bit more forthcoming. He says, "We think this provides more information, more transparency, and more consumer confidence around the score itself. The byproduct of dissuading bad actors from influencing fan sentiment is certainly part of this." And again, look, it goes in multitude of directions. One, the constant attacks on Rotten Tomatoes leads to bad headlines. Bad headlines leads to a lack of confidence in the product. A lack of confidence in the product basically means that Rotten Tomatoes has egg on its face. I've argued for years that Rotten Tomatoes score can be heavily influenced. The fan score can, so why you should never really take it entirely serious. Even the verified critic reviews, you can go and look at some of those sometimes, and they will give it either a fresh or rotten score, and you read the snippet they put there, and you question how exactly it got that score based upon what they've said. And because the critic can, at that point, is the one who selects the quote that they put in that particular box. So it's a whole weird convoluted system. But I'm not going to lie, I do not like that it is only to Fandango purchases right now. And the reason why is Fandango owns Rotten Tomatoes. So Fandango is going to profit from this. And it is a company, it is their company, so they do have every right to profit from it. And we live in a capitalist society. And so that ultimately should not be something that, if you're arguing it from a capitalist perspective or even a political perspective, should be even argued. But when you're blocking other people out from having an impact on something because they didn't buy from the right place, you know, like there's that. But then again, I don't quite know how Amazon does it, because I know Amazon has verified purchase through Amazon. You can see that little verified purchase icon. So you know that the person bought it from there, and you know that they have the item. Then the question becomes, did the other people who review something, did they end up actually, buying it and reviewing it? So you don't quite know, but so it does kind of instill a distrust in non-verified people. And then that could be a bad thing as well, where if people feel like their reviews are being looked at like they're liars or that they are faking it, then they might feel a disincentive to actually go and comment, which is not good, because you want them to comment. So while I support the concept of verifying the users to fight back against people who are trying to troll farm or use the bots to mass dislike or mass post reviews, I do feel that they should not roll this out while it's strictly just for Fandango, because this is over the course of the next year, right? If you're going to roll it out for everyone, or roll it out for no one. Because all you're doing at this point by just rolling out to one company is you are making it look like you are trying to force people to buy through your outlet in order to be able to have a voice that matters, or you're trying to shut out the competition. And neither one of those things is good. So I'm sure there's going to be tweaks. I'm sure there's going to be changes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of uproar about this over the course of the next few weeks, and we'll have to wait and see what Rotten Tomatoes does. But as soon as I know more, you'll know more, and I want to hear your thought. What do you think about this? Let me know down in the comments. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. But if you really want to help the channel, be sure to check out patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. There's $3 theater perks. Lots going to be going on with that, as well as the Facebook group, which is going to be only growing as time goes on. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.